so the first thing we're going to talk about today, now that we've done our Chet Hanks Chet formations and we're all ready to get started today, we're going to talk about how American culture is once again losing another staple, and that's Grand Theft Auto. So it says sources claim that that Rockstar Games plans to introduce female protagonists and neuter offensive content that punches down in Grand Theft Auto 6. I did T-Rex hands already. The idea here is basically you can't have anything fun anymore. There is no fun anymore, and the culture of the workspace. Like we were talking yesterday about Shawn Mendes, and like he's like, I'm taking a break for my mental health. I wonder if like sometimes you just have to have like a horrible environment to create certain things that end up being important.
Oh,
right?
like the crunch time culture in games?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because they talk about it in the article.
I mean, I looked at the Bloomberg article that this one referenced, and the title of it calls it a frat boy culture at Rockstar Games. And I feel like that this is them not being able to decide how they want to stereotype these people in the video games industry. Are they basement dwelling incels, or are they these like chatted up frat boys who are like misogynist pricks?
Both to them.
Pick one.
They think both. They think both. And basically,
irreverence is basically not allowed anymore.
No, you're not allowed to have fun. And there was originally going to be a mode for the game that was like called Cops and Robbers, where like you can be in bands of cops or bands of robbers.
That was insensitive because of something that happened in 2020.
Yes.
The same group anyway.
Yes. So it says, after the death of George Floyd and subsequent riots, the studio allegedly halted plans for the Cops and Crooks mode for Grand Theft Auto Online. Senior executives were concerned how releasing such a mode, where team players fought against each other and teams of police officers and criminals, would be taken at the time. The problem is the game isn't even out yet, and it's now been close to 3 years since then, and culture changes so fast here. We talked about that yesterday.
This is like Ezra Miller's The Flash. In video games.
Ezra Miller is so fun.
We talk about him so much.
He's so fun.
He gets a
what a
lot
wild
of
ride.
It's just still a developing story, by the way.
Is he still menacing Hawaii?
No, he went to his farm in Vermont and then started housing a single mom and her 3 children between ages of 1 and 5.
Does he still have the like indigenous girl he kidnapped?
Yes.
Possibly at the farm.
At the cult.
And
I love when people start cults. Yes.
He's just the new Jim Jones.
That's so fun.
The best
but they
part,
have like bullets and guns strewn about the place. He has an illegal cannabis company. And
at least Hawaii.
The dad of those children is still in Hawaii trying to get custody. It's crazy.
Have you ever gotten those like force pushed notifications on your phone? There was just a shooting near my house the other day, and it went like beep beep beep.
Like
stay out of this area. Yeah, I feel like every time he arrives in Hawaii, there should be one of those alerts.
Yeah,
that's like
take cover. Ezra's
do
here.
not
Ezra Miller.
enter any bars, and for the love of God, don't do karaoke because he will beat you up.
Ezra Miller landed in Hawaii. It's like Pearl Harbor again.
Oh no.
My favorite was the one of him, like it's like they're showing like his mugshot on the TV and the camera pans and it's him at like another bar outside a house.
He's just vibing.
While they're looking at his degeneracy on the TV. That's a vibe.
Did he ever get arrested when they were looking for him?
Oh yeah.
Like
No,
not since they started looking for him to serve him papers.
Then did they ever serve him?
No, not to my knowledge.
They never confirmed whether they actually served him papers or not, just that they were trying to. And it doesn't matter anyways because the girl's over 18 and the protective order that they got didn't really have
But there's
anything.
another protective order for someone who's currently 12 years old.
The 12 years old, yeah.
I thought it was hysterical. What a based move to come out and say like the police are actively looking for you, and he just puts out on his Instagram, can't touch me, I'm in another realm.
Yeah,
I am on so much drugs. I have ascended to another realm where the police cannot touch me.
He is literally like the guy with the AR-15 on his weed farm with his husband.
With all his kidnapped children.
Yeah.
Minus the kidnapped children
the
part. He's the
libertarian
libertarian poster boy.
right?
Yeah, they're like, he wants to...
maybe with the children. I don't know.
If he just put the children in bauxite mines, he'd be okay. Not violating any NAP. Get them to sign contracts under duress. No worries.
So does the part about them changing the culture around the games, do you think that ends up making a product inferior by proxy, just because they can't control how the products are getting made now, and the moment you stifle creativity, it stops being organic?
Yeah, it seems like they couldn't even fulfill the whole map they were building, right?
Yeah. And without crunch time and
Yeah.
actually limiting, allowing these people to actually live lives, they're
Yeah.
not getting products out in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no,
they
it's-
have to be treated like slaves.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is
Are
that
you like
Yes.
pro
No, I'm not.
game
what
developer slavery?
What
Yes.
I'm saying is
Sweatshops.
that there's a certain amount of is the mental health benefits, like these companies, thank you. They talk about
Well, you
earlier on.
have, free days for menstrual leave, so
Yes.
that should make up for it, right?
And the idea that for them, like you either party hard, they talk about how it was a frat boy culture and that everyone there would basically work their asses off and then to blow off steam, go to the strip club. Why must that change? If the people who were doing it loved it, does it really have to change?
If they were still doing that, we would have a side quest where you got to play as George Floyd.
that would
Oh,
have
yeah. Yes.
Dark.
Yes.
And
And
you
then,
get
like,
to choose, am I going to use the fake bill or not?
Yes.
Am I going to resist arrest? Am I going to
The-
take 4 times the lethal dose of fentanyl?
the more trouble you get in, the authorities actually help you. Yeah. Everyone gives you money.
They also talk about how they're going to stop punching down in jokes, and that's a huge problem to me. It's like
And
the whole point is that these
I need
jokes
an
used to be
example
for
because I need to
everyone.
understand what they mean by punching down.
That you can that you can't depict any group in any negative light unless it's I guess you'd say straight white men. That's probably what they're talking about here.
Well, yeah, because all of the diversity stuff, it's never pro-diversity. It's just getting rid of white dudes.
yeah.
Yeah. Who looked good in
The
Grand
industries
Theft
that
Auto
they
ever,
lead.
though? But who ever looked
Thank
good
you.
in Grand Theft
Thank
Auto?
you.
Did anyone?
Well, there was a meme that says there was a guy who posted to their official Twitter account where they're going to be less insensitive to other groups. He's like, we are now going to be less insensitive to you racially as we run you over with a truck in
Right.
the game.
What
Yeah.
about sex
It makes
workers?
no sense to the
Right.
actual message.
They
Yeah.
disparage sex workers in GTA.
Yes.
What's their excuse
well,
for
they,
that?
they also censored.
I would say they gave them a voice.
yes. Well,
Oh,
They're
really?
there.
A
Yeah, they're on the
platform.
street. Yeah.
It says in
necessary.
there was a thing in an old thing of Grand Theft
you.
Auto where they appear to have disabled the trans caricatures or drag queens from spawning outside.
Oh, gosh.
So the idea here is Grand Theft Auto kind of satirized all of American culture at once. Like all the characters were hyper unrealistic versions of what you would imagine a MAGA hat wearing Trump supporter would look like. They censored the Confederate flag. They took the Confederate flag out
Wow.
of the other version of the game. It's like,
See, even when you're poking fun at it, you can't
yeah.
include it.
Yeah, this would be fun. I think the female protagonist idea is a fun thing. Like if you made her you get to play as a hooker or whatever and go
Yeah.
through her adventures of going sleeping with and killing guys and taking their money or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Just obviously have everyone as degenerate as
Right.
everyone else.
But then
the
everyone
problem
should
is,
be.
they're gonna get mad and be like, we're portraying this woman
Yeah.
as this horrible person that's sleeping with men to kill them and steal
How
their
dare
money.
you.
This is disgusting. She has to be some Mary Sue BS character, and then all the guys get to be trash,
That's
which is
when,
an equal representation of degeneracy. I want to be represented in this
Yes.
game,
We're
but
all
I
low
want
lives.
it's all our
That's
worst
when the
selves.
consultants come in and they're like, this is degrading to women. I don't know if you should release this.
Cardi B is a real person who drugged
is
plenty
Cardi B
of-
simulator.
She drugged plenty of men to rob them, and
Yeah.
she's lauded as
She's
a
open about it too.
She's very she doesn't care. She's if we're
I'm
going
sure
to
she'd appreciate it.
Yeah, if
She'd
you're allowed,
appreciate the cameo.
how would that not be just equality, right? If you're allowed to drive over your hookers with your car in this game, then having a Cardi B character that gets to do that stuff would
would
just
be
be
incredible.
perfect
Right.
equality.
The
That is
American dream.
feminism right
Yeah.
there.
they make her a downloadable character that you can play in the game. That'd be incredible. she just goes around and drugs men and drops them.
But
It's
by the
fantastic.
same principle, what about female James Bond that sleeps with a bunch of men?
Because that's a
That doesn't-
set
That's an
character.
established
That's
character, I would
an
say.
established
Yeah, you gotta create a
character
new
that
one.
you're taking.
Yeah.
If they want to create some female character with a name that's not like Jamie Bond, as long as it's not, and have her
Yeah.
sleep with a bunch of men while going on spy
Jamie
missions, I don't think
Bond.
it actually taps into what the James Bond is the male power fantasy.
The
That
problem
doesn't-
is they'd get 3 movies in and she'd be pregnant by the 3rd movie, and then they
yeah.
just have to cut
Yeah.
it. And
yeah.
and then they have to
Then
figure out
blacklist.
Bond
who's
gets an
going
abortion.
to whoever her version of Moneypenny is will have to babysit the baby while she goes out on spy missions. Doesn't that sound like fun? Isn't that what you want to go spend $10,000 at the movies to go see? No, it is not. Nobody wants to see that. So the culture around the industry is changing, and I complain about this a lot. And what you said earlier actually rings kind of true. I do kind of get annoyed when people are like, I'm taking a break for my health. I'm like, oh, you baby. Like, I know that that's insensitive, and I don't really mean it per se, but I understand now that, like, I look at a lot of these. There was an article in an actor today who passed away a lot of years ago because he worked so hard and turned to drugs rather than actually getting help for himself. I don't encourage that or want that to happen in culture, but I do wonder sometimes if a lot of these people, like Shawn Mendes, like, people are not going to those concerts now. Money has to be refunded now because you took a break. Did you not sign up for an obligation?
There's a lot more collateral damage in Shawn Mendes breaking off his tour and not returning to it because of all the people that are involved in all these venues and his tour. Like, that's a machine in and of itself. But do you remember what the company was that allowed the paid menstrual leave days, unlimited paid menstrual leave?
That was I think that might have been Blizzard.
It wasn't Rockstar,
It
right?
might have been Blizzard that offered that. But Blizzard's also the one that had the Cosby Suite and all the bad behavior. It's all the video game companies were just filled with bad behavior because it was an industry that blew up very, very fast, made tons of money, and when you make a bunch of immature people rich very, very quickly, bad stuff tends to happen, as we know.
Is it bad though?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Okay.
Well, it's sort of like that movie The Social Network, where it's like you have that punk rock kind of work culture, but is that tenable long term?
No, it's not. And that's the thing. Is like, is this like the corporate structure of it just kind of stifling what made it unique? Not just on the aspect of like their work conditions, because their work conditions should be something that anyone can manage. At the same time, they choose to work those hours, those days. Nobody's making them work that jobs. But does it end up stifling the creativity of the work? Yes. I would say that what they're doing here and the reaction that I'm seeing from anyone who loved past versions of Grand Theft Auto proves that it's going to stifle creativity, and it makes it inauthentic, and people can spot inauthentic a mile away.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one thing that you don't really, it's interesting to talk about here, like, you don't know why something comes off as fake or inauthentic, but you know, and you can't put it into words why. Like, you see it in movies. Like, I was watching, I talk about, like, rewatching The Wire. Everything about The Wire felt authentic in the way it portrayed everyone as kind of a good guy and a bad guy. Now, you could make that same show, and just the time period it's being made in, knowing how executives in that industry work now, it would never come off as authentic the same way it did back then.
Yeah, because you can't have complicated characters anymore.
Nope.
They have to be good guys and bad guys spelt out clearly for people, because half of it is political propaganda, not real stories, sadly.
That's what we were talking about with Stranger Things yesterday, where people are theorizing that they edited out this scene of Jonathan Byers taking a photograph of Nancy Wheeler undressing in her window, in her boyfriend's window. And they think they edited that out retroactively so that people wouldn't go back to that season later on and give them backlash for having this scene that's like so degrading to women. It makes him look like a perv. And it's like, yeah, the scene made him look like a perv because he's a flawed character. He's a teenager in it. They're both teenagers. He's a flawed character.
And I pointed back to...
Why is that
to the
not
Sandlot.
able to be portrayed anymore?
Human beings are complex and do messed up stuff sometimes, even people who are good.
And I pointed to like the character in The Sandlot who like fakes drowning so that he can kiss Wendy Peppercorn on the lips. And it's like, now would that fly now? Absolutely not.
This is like kindergarten level moralizing.
Yes, and it's very, very boring to me.
No, it'll kill the art.
My favorite character in TV is like Cersei Lannister, because she was one of the first like females that I saw. It was like a mother portrayed as also having this like extremely dark, messed up side, but still such a powerful character. I was like, whoa.
One of the best intros to any episode ever is when she's standing in the room when they're about to explode. That giant the music is perfect.
Boom.
It's like, oh man,
what a cool character.
She was great.
I love make that's the thing that people don't realize is they look at all of these like, oh, we got to portray people progressively. Some of the most progressive things you can do is being willing to portray minorities as villains.
Oh yeah,
like actually we understand you're not just these surface level bullshit characters.
And they did
are complex
that well
human beings.
back in the day. They used to do that very, very well, while also portraying them. They're capable of being good guys too, because that's human nature. It's not unique to any one group.
And I don't think you can truly be good if you don't even know, if you don't have a side of yourself that you're fighting against that is bad.
Yeah.
Because like you're not really overcoming anything. You don't really have that character arc of.
Right. That's where the complexity comes in. And when that's not there, that's when you know it's inauthentic.
The main characters in The Wire, all the cops would drive drunk. Like
like
very like I mean
just like real life.
The implication is there. You know, they don't show them doing that, but they're out like in like an empty like train yard drinking, very clearly inebriated. Like they have to drive to get home. They're putting other people's lives at risk because they're complex characters that are interesting to watch. It gets very boring when everybody's either one side or the other because you know it's coming even before it happens. Nobody wants that, and it's why I have such a problem with most of entertainment today, and all the stuff that I tend to watch is older, because the new stuff's like, you know who's going to be good right off the bat, you know who's going to be bad right off the bat, and there will never deviate for the fear of the 12 psychos on Twitter who will eventually come and tell you that what you did is hurting or damaging some
it's punching
somebody.
down,
and they hate that. They hate they want to only be able to punch at above your station.
who they believe to be above.
Yeah, exactly. Like how demeaning is that? Like any joke you make about my sex is punching down because like we're just inherently below. Cool, great. Who's really spreading the idea that women are lesser here?
Yeah, they just expose their own
to reel
bigotry.
it back to GTA though, there are no complex characters in GTA. There's no character development in GTA.
It's not supposed
This
to
isn't
be.
something that we need to worry
Those
about.
writers are watching right now. They're like,
Nor
"What?
is it something that you should like.
This is such a navel gazing behavior that we want there to be complexity in Grand Theft Auto.
It makes no sense. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.